I end up getting this very visceral experience, which was I basically felt like I was going to combust from the inside, which was my first hot flash. Well, I don't know about perimenopause because I didn't really think about it. I didn't even know that I was going through perimenopause until I had gone through menopause and then learned about it after that. But my first experience with menopause was at 46, and I had recently been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was going through chemo. And so I had gone through my first chemo treatment, which they said chemo could put you into menopause, and it very quickly did. And my first menopause symptom was a hot flash, and it was while I was working with some clients. I'm a realtor. I was working with my clients. We were on a tour of properties that day, and in the middle of driving from one to the next, I end up getting this very visceral experience, which was I basically felt like I was going to combust from the inside, which was my first hot flash. And I'm sitting there feeling sweat pouring down my body and trying to rip off my overcoat and rip off my sweater, and do so all while wearing a toque, since my clients didn't realize that I was going through cancer. I had been wearing a toque the whole time, and I was not taking off the toque. So here I am stripping all my clothes off and hoping that my clients don't look at me like I'm crazy. But that was my very first hot flash, and that was my very first, okay, this is what it's going to be like. So it was very interesting, and the hot flash has not stopped since then, and that was 2019. So I'm going very strong on heat. And since then it's been hot flashes. It's been the other symptoms are the brain fog, as you can experience right now, the irritability, that's a big one, and the night sweats, which is kind of hot flashes. Those are the ones that are really bothersome, I would say. Menopause doesn't come with a lot of support, I would say. My doctor was older and he's now retired, but when I was going through menopause, nobody really talks about it, even the doctors. The only thing he said was, I can put you on some Effexor. That might give you some help for the hot flashes. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. But with any of the other symptoms, not so much. And so it was very much up to me to just go and look online and try and find information about what menopause is and what all these symptoms are. And because I was going through cancer at the same time, my journey was a little bit different because I wasn't sure. Is it hot flash? Is it menopause? Is it cancer? Is it effects of chemo? Is it radiation? Like, there was so much happening that I was quite discombobulated. So, trying to figure out which little thing was which and how to solve that was a bit challenging. So no, I wouldn't say that support was very plentiful, but I feel like I went and found my support by, just educating myself, and and so that was helpful. But I still don't think there's a lot of support, and so I do very much appreciate this experience, because I know, speaking to a lot of my friends who, when they were going into menopause, none of us had any idea what was going on. It was just this new thing, and it can be very discombobulating. For sure, the emotional outbursts have calmed down a lot. I don't know if it's everything's just sorting itself out. I'm not sure if it's just that, or if it's that finally some of these things are changing and I'm moving through menopause and maybe I'm getting to the end of it. Fingers crossed. Take care of yourself. Do whatever you feel you need. For instance, I've tried everything. Like I tried CBD oil to sleep. When I was going through the emotional outbursts and I was really having a hard time like seeing myself as a solid person, I did some microdosing of psilocybin, which was really helpful in kind of bringing me back to seeing the world as a bright and beautiful place again. And I mean, that was very helpful for all the things that I was going through, the cancer included. But I found that just try anything. I'm very much an experiential learner. So I feel like with me, I'd like to try things. And if it works, great, we'll put it in the repertoire. And if it doesn't work, then, you know, at least I tried it and I know. Wisdom, I would say that I now am experiencing some of the most calm and solid periods of time in my life, which I feel like is really valuable. Like I feel much calmer, I feel much more aligned, I feel much more in my body, in myself. And that was something that for the last 10 years, I've been striving to be something constantly. Always in the back of my mind, there's been some sort of voice that's been telling me to do this and go here and do that. And after going through cancer and menopause and all of those things, I really it stripped me back to saying, okay, what's really important to you and what's going to make you happy moving forward? What are the things that you need to accomplish that? One of the other things too is when I was having my first experiences with menopause, I had been down at the dog beach in Kits, and I met a woman who was an indigenous woman, and she was telling me that in the indigenous cultures, moving into menopause is actually a very celebrated time of a woman's life. So you've got this wisdom and you've got all this wonderful knowledge to share. And we don't look at it that way in the Western culture, and I think that's really sad. I feel like my life is much fuller and richer now than it was 10 years ago, and I believe that menopause, cancer of course, all of those things contributed to that. And so I feel like if you take that and you really focus on self-care, like I do a lot of meditation. That was another thing that I started doing to try and cope with all the stuff that's going on in your head and what your brain's telling you, because our brains are, you know, really good at telling us lots of nasty things about the things that we're experiencing. And so I found meditation was really good. I decaffeinated. I don't drink a lot of coffee. I don't drink that much anymore. And I'm a woman who loves a cocktail. So, you know, it was a lot of changes in my life to get me to a point where instead of feeling horrible every day and waking up and experiencing the worst of all those symptoms, I wake up and I feel pretty good. I get up in the morning, I go to the gym, I go and I do meditations every night. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do to help yourself in your whole mind, body, spirit alignment, which I think is also part of helping you get through the menopause part of this. I went through a period of not having mojo, basically. Like I had lost my whole sense of self and who am I? And I think a lot of women go through that. What I really want to see in the next 10 years of my life is to start thriving again and start feeling like, which I feel more empowered today than I've ever felt. So I hope that I can take that and continue on through the next 10 years and create the life that I have always dreamed about, and the things that I haven't done in the last 10, 15 years. I want to make sure that those things get ticked off the box. And I feel like, again, now that I have my mojo back, now that I feel more settled in myself, I feel like that's going to come along very easily.
Thanks for watching this episode. For more menopause stories like this, subscribe below, and don't forget to click the bell so you are notified when we drop a new episode. Did you connect with this story? Let us know by adding your comment and by sharing and liking it. Shared storytelling helps us learn what's happening to our bodies and reminds us we are not alone.